Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we are graced with Dr. Shahram Ayubzadeh. He's going to talk to us about the Canadian College of Homeopathic Medicine, college to train professional homeopaths in Ontario. Shahram is the dean of the college. And the Canadian College of Homeopathic Medicine um, this is the second of our webinar series on why and how to become a professional homeopath. It's a vitally important topic. The first presentation was given by the Ontario College of Homeopathic Medicine, and that recording is available on our website and has been sent out in our newsletter. And it's vitally important that we have more professional homeopaths. Canadians for Homeopathy, who's putting on this webinar, and all of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Canadians for Homeopathy. That's why you're here tonight. But Canadians for Homeopathy is a organization that is dedicated to promoting advocacy for home users, home prescribers, for empowering patients and providing reliable information and educational resources to Canadians and really all people around the world who have an interest in homeopathic medicine. But we thought that we would do these webinars that gave a little bit more of a insight into what it takes to become a clinician, to become a professional homeopath, why one should consider becoming a professional homeopath, what the career looks like, and how to move forward if you want to take your practice from a home prescriber to a professional, working with the general public and learning to deeply heal with this amazing gift of homeopathic medicine that we have. So a little bit about Canadians for Homeopathy. Canadians for Homeopathy is a nonprofit, volunteer-run organization that works to promote awareness of homeopathy, to provide educational opportunities and resources for home users, and to ensure that homeopathy continues to remain accessible and available to all Canadians by advocating for the freedom of choice in medicine. And you can see that the slogan here is educate, communicate, advocate, and celebrate. So these are the core values that Canadians for Homeopathy stands for. And our mission is to educate Canadians about the value and appropriate use of homeopathy for the improvement of their health and well-being. And we do this by way of webinars, by way of newsletters, by way of social media posts. Our vision is to bring the health benefits of homeopathy to all Canadians, and our values are personalized, ethical, quality care supported by competent professionals and freedom of choice in healthcare. So we not only serve to educate about homeopathy, but also to ensure that homeopathy remains available and to promote advocacy efforts and causes when they come up. You can support Canadians for Homeopathy by becoming a subscriber. So our webinars are all free to watch live, though the replays are available only for our subscribers, and it is only $6 a month for the general public. And if you're a professional and would like to pay a higher tier, that's also much appreciated and welcomed to keep the costs for maintaining our newsletter and other such expenses that come up. And so, as I said, tonight we are joined by Dr. Shahram Ayubzadeh, and Shahram practices as a naturopathic doctor and homeopathic physician in Canada, though he's also trained as a medical doctor. Graduated from the Faculty of Medicine in Dakar, Senegal, specializing in tropical diseases and leprosy. And since his arrival in Canada in 1987, he's done extensive study in the field of holistic and natural approaches to healing. In 1990, he obtained his ND from the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, and soon after focused on the field of homeopathy. Shahram is now the dean at the Canadian College of Homeopathic Medicine and serves as a lecturer as well as clinical supervisor. Just a disclaimer that this webinar is to educate about homeopathy and is not intended in place of professional consultation and does not constitute medical advice. And one of the things that we do emphasize at Canadians for Homeopathy is that there is a lot that can be done by home prescribers and home users of homeopathic medicines, and we do encourage that. And that's one of the main reasons that these webinars are put on, is to help encourage people to become interested in taking care of their own health and to develop a certain autonomy and freedom in terms of how they manage common ailments as they come up. But we're also very much oriented around promoting the profession of homeopathy and ensuring that professional standards are maintained, and promoting the utmost professional care in terms of the practice of homeopathy in Canada. And we have or we'll soon have a directory on our website that will allow you to find homeopaths in your area. And any homeopaths that are listening, you can email us if you would like to get involved, and in the future, if you would like to have a listing on the website. So I think that that's it for me. We will have ample time for questions at the end. So if anything comes up, if you have any questions that you would like addressed, then you can just put them in the Q&A section, and I will read them off at the end. And so with that, I will hand it over to you, Shrem.
Thank you very much, Victor, for the introduction. And thank you again for inviting us to be a part of this presentations on colleges in Canada. I'm really honored to be in your presence on behalf of all the staff and the faculty of the Canadian College of Homeopathic Medicine. I welcome you all. Thanks for being here. Going through the curriculum of our college and our programs has a lot of, would take a lot of time and a lot of details. So I will try to be as brief as possible to allow as many questions as may arise after, just to make sure we address your issues. Let me share my screen as we're going through this. It's all working well?
Perfect. Yep, all good.
All right, so I was saying, what I really like to talk about mostly tonight is this: why become a homeopath? Why is it important for me to talk about homeopathy and to encourage everybody, actually, I come across to consider incorporating homeopathy into their life as a treatment for themselves, but also to become a source of healing for everybody around them. I think that is my biggest passion in life, just because of the journey that I had myself. And I found that the journey from conventional medicine to naturopathic medicine and to homeopathic medicine finally has been such a rich and rewarding and inspiring and joyful experience that I'm always passionate about talking about homeopathy and encouraging people to incorporate this into their life. This morning, I started seeing patients from 12 till 6 o'clock. And patient after patient, I was thinking about tonight's talk, and I realized I wish I could share with everybody there a sample of what people are experiencing after they receive a really good, deep curative remedy for their constitution. So I think homeopathy has been something that I have always been looking for. I had to go through the conventional medicine and naturopathic medicine and to find homeopathy. And that's what I'd like to share with you, really, above all. So I'm not here only to promote our college, really. There are many colleges that offer excellent program in homeopathy. I will definitely tell you why I think you should consider our college, but I really want to make sure you understand what it is to be a homeopath. Such a great experience it is to be a homeopath and be part of very deep healing inside a person's physical being, emotional being, cognitive being, and a spiritual being. So often people ask me, how come you have so much energy? Don't you ever get tired? And I tell them that every patient that I see getting better, while nothing else has worked for them, it's just such a source of energy to continue doing this work, wanting to learn it more and wanting to share everything that I've learned with the world, really. So some of you are probably familiar with homeopathy, others may not be as much. So I'm going to presume that most people do not know what homeopathy is. I just wanted to share with you a sample, maybe a 2-3 minutes video of what a homeopathic medicine can do. This video that I'm going to share with you is from one of our internship clinic. An internship clinic is when a patient joins our clinic and a supervisor, so in this case, it was myself. Dr. Joe Klurstein has done a lot of the supervisions as well for the first. He does most of the supervision for the first year and second year and part of third year, and I do most of the advanced clinical supervisions on the third year. So this is a lady who has been treated for many years with homeopathic medicine. She has also attended the clinics of other schools who are offering homeopathy, and she's a very happy patient as a homeopath. Still, she had some of her issues weren't going away. And what I teach during this internship clinic is how you can go very deep inside a person and identify what needs to be cured and bring about. So once you identify what needs to be cured, then you just need to match it with a remedy. I want to share with you the result of a remedy just to see what the kind of transformation it can create from the time you give the remedy to the patient. Sorry, that's not what I want to do. Just hold on, stop sharing. I'm going to share this screen here.
So I took the first remedy on Wednesday morning, March 20th, and I felt much lighter, more trusting, really joyful. I felt like everything was going to be fine. My worries and my sorrows felt like they fell away. And I had been feeling a bit lonely and isolated before that. And after I took the remedy, I felt very content with myself. I felt a sense of oneness and peace and within myself and also the greater world. And I have a lot of, in my journal, I have a lot of thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, it came out in the form of, I just wanted to smile at everything I was doing. That day, I'm a black tea drinker. I drink black tea every morning. That day, I did not want to drink black tea. I only wanted nettles, which is my other go-to tea. By the early afternoon, so I took it at 9 a.m. By early afternoon, my body felt really heavy and kind of quiet. Like I didn't really want to move around too much. And I started to feel a shadow of a headache that afternoon. I went out to the ocean and took a walk, which was lovely. And by that evening, I had a full-on headache. I was really sensitive to light and noise. So I took another remedy that night. I woke up the next morning, did not have a headache, but I was pretty groggy and felt still pretty light sensitive. It kind of took me a while to get going the next morning. Okay, then it was Friday, March 22nd, spring equinox. I took another dose because you had said, wait 48 hours from the time you had a reaction. So my reactions were all 48 hours prior to that. I took the remedy and I had the same kind of euphoric feeling, same kind of joy. I had a slightly better taste in my mouth, but other than that, it was all pretty similar symptoms, responses. And then April 10th, just a few days ago, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning with a kind of a headache / migraine. It wasn't super severe, but it was definitely there. And I took the remedy and I again had that really euphoric feeling, which was absolutely lovely, especially because yesterday I said goodbye to my daughter, who's going to be working on the East Coast for the next 9 months. So I'm hoping to see her. If I see her, I'll see her maybe for 2 days in the next 9 months, which we're really, really close. And saying goodbye was really rough.
So you took the remedy on April 10th?
Correct.
Yeah.
At 4:30 in the morning. And I slept 3 more hours and I woke up at 7:30 and the headache was totally gone. And I was jumping up and down for joy. And so these are some other things I noticed in terms of reactions. Every time I take it, my digestion is great. I poop more, it's fabulous. Happy gut. I would say I'm also remembering my dreams more. I'd say that I would say that the remedy for me has just sort of lifted some kind of heaviness, and has made me feel just more connected to myself, more one with myself, more one with the world, more accepting of, of the feelings of separation and loneliness. Euphoric is the word that comes to mind. It makes me feel joyful when I take it. It's a really lovely feeling. And it definitely is having an effect on the headaches. Not every time, but it definitely is. It's working some kind of headache magic on the headaches. I didn't research it until I started taking it. And then my sister had a materia medica. And I opened up and I read it, and there was absolutely nothing in there that sounded like me. So I just completely ignored that. And I was like, that's not my remedy.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I just love that it's green apple because I absolutely love apples. But there was nothing in there that resembled me, which is funny. I figured you'd appreciate that. The other thing is that the last session had a really big impact on me in terms of the psychological, that session felt incredibly psychological. It felt like I was in a Jungian session with a therapist, which I absolutely thought was amazing. And I literally, if I'd had this done, I could have done it for days and days. I just thought it was really, I thought that you were absolutely just masterful at the kind of questions you're asking me. So what it's brought up is from that is this feeling of freedom and obedience, obedience to responsibility and freedom. And I'm part of a
Let's come back to where we were. Share. Right, so thank you for patience to listening to this. I just wanted to share with you how amazing really homeopathy is and why I have so much desire to sit down with every patient that comes to my clinic or comes to the college clinic to find out how can we duplicate what you just heard with every patient. That is also in spite of the fact that the patient she has had quite a few good remedies in her life, but two of her major issues on the physical level, the constipation and chronic digestive issues, and the migraines never went away, even though they had improved, but they never went away. And on an emotional level, she's a Holocaust survivor, and this heaviness that she talks about is all about how she grew up around this very, very strong, heavy, guilt-driven, shame-based experience of just being alive and being thankful, and you just have to obey. I think that's why she used the word obedience. Whatever parents ask you to do, you just do it because you're here and you owe them your life in a way. So this consultation took 3 to 4 hours to bring about what needed to be cured in her, and that's what we do on the third year of the college. Is just we teach our students what to do when a patient responds partially to remedies, and what are techniques we can use to go very deep into the patients and bring about a very deep cure. So that's why we love to have people coming through the college and going through this what looks like tedious study of materia medica and organon, which is the philosophy, and going through the repertorization and all the basic sciences and so on, and then end up with wonderful graduates. This is a picture of one of our graduation ceremony. You recognize probably some of the faces in here. And just having these people going out in the world and replicating, learning from their patients, and bringing about this message of health and healing to everybody around them. So really want to say we are not just there to give this and that for a patient's ailments. At homeopathy, what is unique about homeopathy is that it can really go to the core of the patient and heal at a very, very deep level. So for those of you who may not stay until the end, or maybe watching this video later, I want to encourage you to come to our in-depth info session that's going to take place on Thursday, June 30th. Let me actually click on this. I don't know if it is still sharing my screen or not. Let me.
Right now it's not.
Okay, I think if I did share a screen.
Yep, that's good.
So here, I'm going to share that link in here in the chat as well, if it allows me. There are two events happening this week. One is Lisa DeCandia is going to talk about her experience with homeopathic remedies. I really want to encourage you to listen to her webinars. No, she's a really good testimony of what it is to go through a homeopathic program. She's in practice now for 23 years. She's one of our main lecturers, and she's going to be leading the clinic as well next year. And the info session, if you just go to this to this page, and here it says add to the cart, that that's what we have for registering for a session. Andrea Deal, she's the head of admission and programs at our college. She's excellent. She knows every minutiae of the program. She can tailor a program to your needs. So anybody who has any questions about details that I may not cover this evening, please join us on this Thursday, June 13 at 1 p.m. So back to our program here. So our college, we have CCHM has been in practice for 30 years. This is one of the longest running homeopathic college in Canada, or in fact in North America. I think there is just another college that is also in their 30th, and that's 30 years of continuously offering educations. We have always tried to offer the most comprehensive homeopathic education that is available, that can be done in a 3-year program. And I say that is because homeopathy is so vast. You can have a 5-year program or a 7-year program, and there is still something to learn. What I do love about homeopathy is that once you have a very strong foundation, once you learn about new methods, new proven scientific methods in how to go deeper into the patients, then every single day you can learn and grow and never be tired of learning. Every patient becomes a teacher for learning something new about homeopathy. It's just such a vast ocean that you can swim in every day and never get bored of what you learn and what you can bring, the gems that you can bring out and offer to the patients. So we always try to stay up to date and bring whatever it has been shown to be working around the world through different master homeopaths, offer it to our students through our 3-year program, but also through our postgrad program. We do have students that are coming from different parts of the world. I should say that our college is also the only college in Canada and probably in North America that is been approved for international students to come and study here. There is a designated learning institute process that you have to go through with the government in order to allow the students from across the world to get a study permit and come to Canada. We are very proud, as it is the case really with most colleges, that our health class sciences are taught by medical doctors, people who are at the PhD level, or naturopathic doctors who specialize in homeopathy. So our main goal is to instill that passion into our students, really, a passion for learning. As Joe Klerstein, one of our main teachers, always remind students is that you have to always learn at the pace of joy. I think studying the materia medica of the remedies is such a delightful experience, because every substance that exists around us suddenly becomes live. It takes a form and a shape, and you get to understand remedies. And when I talk about remedies, I'm talking about minerals, all the 120 minerals on the periodic table, all the one-cell organisms, viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, and plants. Most of the plants that are around us, we have a couple of thousands of remedies made from the plant kingdom, and then we have a few hundred remedies made from the animal kingdom. And any of these remedies that you learn, just everything starts having a different meaning or different quality for you. So in homeopathy, we try to match the state of a person to a state of something that exists in nature. Because if you just think that life has evolved from minerals to one-cell organisms to plants to animals and to human beings, then human beings are really not separate from nature. We are part of the nature. Our DNA has 90% of its phenotypes in common with most mammals. And we have a lot of genes in common with plants and viruses and bacteria, and we are made of the 120 elements that exist in nature. So it really makes sense when you identify that something is not functioning well at the DNA level at the human being. And that's how I understand the pathology. Disease is something that is very deep in our cellular memory, is part of our subconscious mind that has passed on from many generations to us. That cellular memory is cause of our strength, but it's also cause of our weaknesses. So we can identify what needs to be cured at the DNA level, really. Then you will find something either in the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, mineral kingdom, or the one-cell organisms that can repair or heal that DNA. So homeopathic consultation is really finding the nature within a human being, finding what is the element in the nature that plays the biggest role in the totality of the person. It's really about discovering the defense mechanism, the survival mode of the patients, and then match it with something that exists in nature. And as soon as you do that, it's like you're completely freeing the person. I think the state of blissful or joy that this patient recognized in herself is just really, you have lifted 100 pounds of weight out of a person, and they start looking at life in a completely different way. And I think what we really pride ourselves in is the quality of our teachers. I think that there are many different programs for homeopathy, but I have no doubt that the quality of the program is really as good as the quality of the teachers that are there. One of the points that we really pride ourselves is that we have attracted one of the best teachers, one of the master homeopaths really in North America and outside into our program. Those of you who may be new to homeopathy, you probably do not know Dr. Joseph Klirstein. He is really master at teaching the organon of health and disease by Samuel Hahnemann. Dr. Klirstein has been in practice for over 40 years, and he's one of the reasons that I practice homeopathy myself. When I was going through the naturopathic program, taking homeopathy there, he gave a couple of lectures at our college that really blew my mind, and I became so in love in homeopathy after his lectures. Just to tell you how experienced he already was when I was a student myself. And he has continued to teach the organon and teach many of our courses. And for the last more than 10 years, he has been heading the clinics, the internship clinics. So we have hours and hours of recorded videos of Dr. Klirstein taking cases with the students, discussing these cases with the patients, and prescribing remedies. So he's quite a well-known figure in the homeopathic community. He's also featured in this film that, if you're familiar with, Kim Elia is the next person that I want to talk to you. Kim Elia has recently produced a film on homeopathy. Really want to encourage all of you to watch that movie. It's an excellent, over 2 hours of documentary on what really homeopathy is. I think it's the master of art productions. Had the privilege of being in a conference in Washington, D.C. in April, and we had a screening of that movie, and it's really just an amazing movie. You should watch it and recommend it to everyone that you know. So Joe Klirstein is also interviewed in that movie. So Kim Elia is also an internationally known teacher and clinicians, and we're so proud to have him as part of our lectures. These are not guest lectures, these are part of our faculties. John Miller is also a senior homeopath. He was one of my supervisors when I was going through my homeopathic studies as well. And he has brought both the very classical homeopathy and modern homeopathy to our students. And he also teaches the physiopathology from a homeopathic perspective. So you see the real application of the physiopathology and the organ affinities based on that. Dr. Saunders also he's an excellent everything. I mean, he was giving a presentation this April in Washington. This presentation was in cardiovascular failure, the homeopathic treatment. He has such a rich background. He teaches at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, National University of Health Sciences, our college. He's part of Dundas Naturopathic Center, and he's on the medical advisory panel at Betazan. He's on the licensing examination of naturopathic physician and Canadian Association of Naturopathic Doctors Governmental Affairs, and he's a commissioner for ACHENA, which is a North American Accreditation Commission. So he was also a nurse practitioner before becoming a naturopath and then specializing in homeopathy. So you can go to our website and you will see the list of the different teachers that we have. I'm not going to go through all of them. What I do myself mostly during the college, I teach all the advanced and modern new trends in homeopathy from toward the end of the second year to the third year to our students, just to make sure our students are staying up to date with what is happening in the world. And another thing that I really pride myself that I offer to students for free, really, we don't charge for any of these sessions, and we invite anybody who, even our grads, to be part of this, is that I take some of the cases from my own clinic that I find are of really high educational value, or cases that I found challenging solving. And once I solve the case, then I present those cases to the students on Tuesday evenings. So for them to see what are different ways to analyze and study the patients. Our college is the only Canadian college that is accredited by ACHENA. ACHENA is the gold standard for accreditation in North America. And we also have, our program is approved by CHO, which is the College of Homeopaths of Ontario. Our programs exceed both what CHO is recommending as a minimum for a homeopath, and also what ACHENA is offering is expecting us. I know there may be a misunderstanding amongst many schools in North America about the role of the ACHENA. Unfortunately, some schools think that ACHENA is only an association, that if you all you need is just to apply and you get approved. But I have to tell you that this is really just becoming accredited by ACHENA is an extremely extensive process to do. And it is not about just getting approved once. Every year, everything is being reviewed by ACHENA. Just wanted to show you sorry for this direction. I'm going the opposite direction, I think. You know, when you go through this accreditation, sorry, was it already there? Are you still seeing my screen? I'm not sure if I'm sharing the proper screen or not.
It says ACHENA site visitor checklist, and the text is quite small.
That's okay, thank you. Or let me make it larger. And go to the center here. I'm not going to bore you with the details of this, but I just want to show you that the list of things that you have to go through on a regular basis to be able to stay accredited with ACHENA is really recommends every aspect of your school, from the legal organization to governance of the school, the membership, the roles of each individual, bylaws, policies, meetings, administration, and organization and stuff. So this is an extensive list of things that we have to adhere to. And if I come back to our presentation and to show you what's this year, even though we are fully accredited by ACHENA, we still have to meet with them. This on July 12th for 2 days. They will be meeting with us and different faculties and different students and the staff, and they go through every aspect of our college to make sure everything is we're adhering to and is matching their standards of to. So it's 2 full days. And it used to be 4 days, and they have reduced it to 2 days of in-person, and the other 2 days will be through different documents that we have to provide for them. So this is to say, being part of the being part of the ACHENA takes a lot. It really meant a lot to us to make sure that we have an independent organization outside of us that has really high standards and we live up to. And the other things that this has meant for us is that all the accredited schools have formed a council of homeopathic schools that are accredited. There are 7 of us, and we get together once a month and we talk about homeopathy, the future of homeopathy, our curriculums, our standards, what we learn from each other, what we can share, how we support each other. And it really has been an amazing experience for me for the last 3-4 years to be part of this Council of Colleges of accredited schools and working with other like-minded people who have very high standards for their education of their students as well. So our program itself, we do have, our main program is a homeopathy and health science diploma program. I'll talk a bit more about the details of that very shortly. We do have also a homeopathy for healthcare practitioners and for physicians. So, which is, if you are a healthcare practitioners, you may be able to go in as little as 18 months and go through our homeopathic program. We do have a correspondence education program that has been in place for over 20 years. That's the pre-Zoom, pre-COVID also experience where we had many students that weren't in Toronto and they took this correspondence program. And we are updating this correspondence program on a regular basis. And we have a good number of our students who are taking that correspondence program. We have an introduction to homeopathic distance education course. And we have also a program for the students who have trained elsewhere and coming to Canada, and they need to have requirements that are needed by CHO to be able to practice Ontario, or they want to upgrade their skills in Canada, having a Canadian experience of homeopathy. We have a specific program for them. As I mentioned, we do have an international program, which is our homeopathy and health science and diploma program. But our international program has also some days in person. The homeopathic people who come from abroad has to be able to sit in classes as well. Unfortunately, this year, the government of Ontario decided to not allow people to come for homeopathy to study in Canada. So we are in the process to see how we can work on that for next year. As you know, they have so many colleges have brought so many people, international students here, that they had to, and there was such a strong shortage of housing and many other issues, that the government of Ontario has reduced that program by 50%. So many of the colleges this year couldn't bring international students in. And we also offer a postgrad program. We have two modes of delivery, each leading to a diploma in homeopathic medicine. Both have been based on our traditional 3-year program that we have been running since the inception of our college. Both programs are extremely flexible, and they can be done in much less time depending on the students. I think it really depends on whether a student has a full-time job or not, and how much time they have available on their hand in order to be able to go. So our correspondence program is called e-learning program. It is completed 100% by distance education and is self-study according to your own schedule. Our online program is spread over 3 years. It can also be done 100% by distance education. It is done now. Since COVID, we have brought all our programs online. The main difference between the two programs is that the online program is always live. So you will have a teacher, you'll have the students, you'll have the questions and answers that are asked. On a Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. we go through this. And when I teach my Tuesday evenings, it's on from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. But because we have these students in different time zones and different parts of the world, every program is recorded from our online program. And it's posted on our classroom website. And the students can access it at their own time and go through the whole program. And then if they have any questions, they share it with the teacher. So both programs can be done in a condensed fashion, with some students completing them in 2 years, and they can be extended up to 6 years. According by ACHENA's standards and CHO standards, once the student registers with the school, they have to finish it within 6 years. You cannot go beyond that. I would say that the vast majority of our students who take the online program, they finish it within 2 to 3 years. Some people go up to 4 years when they're mothers with children, or they have a full-time program, or already have a full-time practice themselves. We attract many of other health professionals also into our program. But people who do have time and they can put a bit more effort, we have had somebody who finished the program in 21 months. So programs are made in a way that you can enter it at any time during the day, during the year, regardless of which one of these two programs you are joining, because some of our programs are pre-recorded and you can start watching those pre-recorded. And those are really the basic sciences and most parts of the organon and few other programs that you will be watching and passing an exam for each one of them. You can do that at any time, and then you will join the online program in September. So we do accept the students in September all the way till January. And then those people who join after January, they will do all the basic science programs until September, and then they join the live online program, or they choose to do the e-learning program. So I think I've talked about this. If you have any question later, we can talk about this more in detail. I know you will probably would want to know how much each program costs. The online live program's total cost is 23,700 Canadian. And if you live in US, it is still at 23,700 Canadian. The e-learning program is about 17,750. That's the lowest price where we really encourage our people who do the e-learning program to join some of the live programs and join the internship clinic as well. And once you do that, once you join some of those live programs and and you do the internship clinic, it costs close to 19,475. I think the core of any college is their clinical education. And there are many different ways of delivering clinical education to students. And I have been part of other colleges. We had Ottawa College of Homeopathy in Ottawa here. I live in Ottawa. And we have experimented with different fashions, different methods of having clinical education. And I believe what we are offering now at CCHM is really a gold standard of training students into becoming an independent practitioner. From the very first month of enrollment of our students are asked to be in the clinic. So it's part of their training. So they first join the clinic as an observer, where the master homeopath, Joe Klerstein, until now is watching, is taking a case. There is usually a coordinator. Carrie has been coordinating this as well. So the two people together take the cases, then there is live discussions. The students are involved in here. And as the students become more and more proficient, the students can ask also questions from the patients to prepare them for their second part of their education, which is the externship portion of their training. This externship part of the training allows the students to learn how to find patients on their own. So rather than providing patients to the students, we teach, because we do have a practice management course on how to promote yourself and how to talk to people about homeopathy and how to encourage them to become a patient. So we really want to encourage students, once they get to their second level and third year level of education, to learn on how to promote themselves, attract patients to their practice, take the cases on their own, and all those cases are presented to a supervisor. Each student on each case has a supervisor that they work with. And the students go through 2 or 3 different supervisors through their clinic, so they learn different styles of prescriptions. My own experience of supervising the students is really interesting. You know, the first time they take the case, you can feel that they're just following a template that is in their mind. And then as we coach them on how you can go deeper into the case and what are the parts of the case that are missing, then you see the second case become much better, the third case become much better. By the time they take their 4th or 5th case, they feel, you see the quality of the case taking coming so amazing into their cases. And as students take cases on their own, analyze it on their own, do their differential diagnosis, and then they present it to a supervisor, and the supervisors tell them, really, this is an amazing case, and the remedy you came up is a really good case. It gives them more and more confidence that, yes, they can do it on their own. In our third year, when I do the clinic, after a couple of clinics, I encourage the students to take the case. I observe them. I coach them if they need to go deeper into the case live with the patients while other students are observing. But there is a different quality when the student goes and have to replicate that on their own. And knowing that at least for 12 of their cases, they have to do that until they feel that they're really comfortable. And those patients are, for most part, are following those students, and they become part of their practice. As soon as they get their diploma, they start practicing. They already have built. Many of the 2 individuals that I supervised last year, by the time, I mean, we asked them to have 12, but by the time they were finishing, they had close to 30 different other cases that they have seen, and they submitted some of those cases on top of what they already needed to do, both in acute cases and in chronic cases. So, so this, both the integration of the internship and the externship prepares the student for going through their schooling, knowing that there is a supervisor always that can help them. And some of the students keep their connection with the supervisors for other cases. And during this 3-year program, as I mentioned, we make sure that we talk about new trends in the homeopathic world. Our program has also an extensive component on lab diagnosis. Homeopaths need to learn how to interpret laboratory tests. They have to learn about physical examination, the pharmacology and side effect of the drugs, and the mode of action of the drugs are discussed. As I mentioned, we have a practice management course just to make sure students know how to interact with patients, how to set up a practice, and how to promote themselves. We do, on the 3rd year, we prepare students for their registration with the College of Homeopaths of Ontario and for CHC. CHC is the Center for Homeopathic Certification in US. And our program, both because we're part of CHO and because we're part of ACHENA, is recognized that our students can directly go and write the CHC exam. Our students receive continual support through a variety of free and paid postgrad levels opportunity that nurture happiness in practice and community engagement. So we don't leave our students alone. We always offer a postgrad program. And this, anybody who has gone through our postgrad program really has praised the quality of the education they got once they have had their diploma and they start looking at deeper pathologies and deeper way of looking into cases. This is a testimonial from one of the students. This postgrad program, advanced study, which not only expanded my foundation knowledge, but allowed me to gain practical case-taking experience that likely would have taken many years to experience in private practice. As such, I believe the programs fast-forward the students' ability and strength to assess a case and arrive at a good remedy choice. We also encourage students to bring their difficult cases to these postgrad programs and discuss them. But in addition to that, we do have this evenings called Leading Edge Homeopathy, where the whole alumni come together, and we encourage grads and the students and the staff and faculty, whoever is available, to be there. And either we present a case that was challenging and we have solved it, or we bring a case to the group and we discuss it as a group, or we talk about different things that is happening in the homeopathic community, just to make sure that, because everything is online now, we don't lose that sense of community. Make sure our students are always stay together and interact with each other and interact with the staff, so they never feel abandoned to themselves. So our postgrad programs, for those of you who are homeopath are usually done through 8 weekends. And it goes from October to June. So it's a total of 16 days of education. Our programs is already, because our school is ACHENA approved and CHO approved, our program automatically has the CEU credit because they trust our college. The postgrad program is open to all professional homeopaths, naturopaths, anybody who has the basic foundation in homeopathic education. And the purpose of this courses is to teach advanced methods in case taking and looking at advanced pathologies, or learn about different classifications of remedies, just to add on to whatever you have learned during your 3 years, either with our school or other schools. And what we're going to do this year, in order to reduce the cost on our students, because we do recognize that people really spend a lot of time and money into going through this 3-year program. A lot of these students want to have a postgrad program, but sometimes the financial part of it is maybe a roadblock. And it wasn't really that expensive. It's around $3,400 until now. But we have decided to really cut that cost down to by half or even a third if we can, by offering a mixture of pre-recorded lectures of the last 4 years and some live lectures with different master homeopaths. So for those of you who are interested in our postgrad program for next year, please contact the college. Or you can check our website and you will see the details of that fairly soon. We're still working on different component, the infrastructure for offering it through our website. So these are the teachers that have, in the last few years, have done the postgrad programs. I have mentioned some of them. Farouk Master, he's really a master homeopath. He's probably one of the best known homeopath for treating cancers and other chronic diseases in India. Dr. Ashish Mehta, he is also from India, and he's an excellent teacher, excellent clinician. He brings a lot of cure cases from his own practice to this. Some of you may have heard Dr. Samir Chokar through his different seminars that he has given for the schools. And you'll get a chance to meet Lisa DeCandia if you go to her, the webinar that is being offered soon. It's on our website. And I think I'm going to stop here and allow all of you to ask questions and open your heart, share your concerns, and see in which way I can be helpful. And if I cannot answer any of the questions, then I really would invite you to come to this Thursday question and answer webinar that we had with Andrea.
Great. Thank you so much. We have one question from an anonymous attendee, which is regarding the changes that are occurring in the realm of natural healing and increasing regulations. And I guess the question is concerning the viability of a career as a homeopath, or any sort of career in the natural healthcare field in light of the changing landscape of natural healthcare in Canada.
Oh, that's a very important question. And I know over the last 5-6 months, we hear that more and more because of some of the regulatory changes that are happening at Health Canada. From a homeopathic perspective, first, I should say that whatever recommendation is really about the cost recovery program that Health Canada was putting into place, that unfortunately would put an unfair burden on homeopathic companies for bringing homeopathic remedies to Canada. And that means if the program would have gone through as they wanted to, which really means treating a homeopathic remedy as having a similar side effect and similar dangers to the public than drugs, conventional drugs, it would have been really devastating for homeopathic companies, not necessarily for homeopathic practitioners. And I'll tell you the difference between the two. The homeopathic remedies that are most commonly used by homeopaths are profitable enough by homeopathic companies to bring them. It is access to those remedies that are prescribed extremely rarely that wouldn't be profitable to bring to Canada. And which is already the case. You won't find any homeopathic company in Canada that has every single homeopathic remedies. First, because there are new remedies that are added to the homeopathic repertoire almost on a yearly basis. And secondly, because those remedies are used only by homeopaths who are always updated with the homeopathic knowledge. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for a homeopathic company to go through the licensing fee and all the approval in order to bring a new product to Canada. So what we have done is to source those remedies from Europe or from US or from India or so on. These remedies do exist. For, I would say, 98% of the order that I place in those other countries, we receive the remedies within 1 to 3 weeks. Once in a while, the border stops those remedies because they really don't know the law. They're not allowed to. Recently, they had stopped one of the order that we have placed. They say that you don't have a license to sell this medicine, which is really about the custom not knowing the law. The law says that as you are a homeopathic practitioner, as a homeopathic remedy practitioner, you can bring any remedies into Canada and dispense it to your patients. You don't become a supplier by providing a remedy to a patient, but you cannot bring remedies for mass for selling to the public. You cannot become a dispensary that it's open for people to come and pick up remedies. But you can bring remedies in and compound it yourself, which every single homeopath will learn, or at least when you go to our college, you'll learn how to compound a remedy. So you source different potencies of the remedies, and you learn how to make your own dilutions and succussions to provide a remedy to the patients. And the good thing with homeopathy is that once you have a 30C or a 200C of a remedy, you have enough remedies for almost ever for all your patients. It's not a good thing for a homeopathic company, but for somebody who is forced to compound, that's the way to do. So every time I order a remedy, I use that remedy as a source for all the other remedies that I prepare in the future. So I will never run out of a remedy, never have to, and I have a few thousand remedies in my practice. So regardless of what the loss is, it will not affect my practice or the practice of any homeopath who is dispensing remedies not for commercial uses, but only to their patients. So this law may affect naturopaths or some nutritionists and so on, and some herbalists, but it will not affect the practice of homeopathy because we will have access to the homeopathic remedies. And if you have ordered those remedies already, you have them in your practice and you will dispense them. But if you're amongst like the 95% of homeopaths use only 100 remedies or 120 remedies in their practice, maybe 150 maximum. Those 150 remedies are available in Canada. Boron is going to continue, Homeocan is going to continue to have them because they make enough money from those remedies that they won't need to discontinue it. The issue is those few other 1,000 remedies that are used rarely to make those available. But I think all homeopaths have learned to work with Helios and Remedia and Einsport and so on in order to source those remedies and order them and have them in their inventory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I'll just add that I think it's a very exciting time to get involved as a homeopath. And, you know, the practice of homeopathy has always faced detractors and has always faced opposition. And yet there's always practitioners that have found a way to navigate any kind of opposition that might come in their way, because the practice has great integrity and great dedication on the part of the practitioners and patients. And it works. I mean, homeopaths get great results all around the world, in spite of the fierce opposition that comes to them. This is, you know, going all the way back to the inception of homeopathy, and the history of it is very interesting. I mean, the founding of the American Medical Association, when the American Medical Association initially started, they tried to eradicate the practice of homeopathy. They banned any mention of homeopathy in their medical journal. They removed the license of any medical doctor who was using homeopathic remedies, or who was even married to a homeopath or someone caught using homeopathic remedies. But those practitioners persisted and they continued having thriving practices. And a lot of it is ultimately just noise, yeah, that gets in the way of people pursuing this great art, which has been continuously practiced since its inception and is only growing in terms of its sophistication, elegance, and clinical efficacy.
Yes, that's such an important point you made, Victor. Thank you for sharing that. I should also let everybody know who is going to be watching this, hopefully in the next 2 days, that through Canadian Coalition for Homeopathy, we are offering a series of webinars on research in homeopathy. You know, that's where the skeptics have attacked homeopathy in the last 20 years, saying that there is no real science behind homeopathy. And we do know that there are, and we are inviting researchers to give webinars and talk about the research that exists. And we invite healthcare professionals and public to attend those webinars. So please join us in those webinars. Be on alert to receive the emails and make sure you're there. And invite your medical doctor, invite your practitioners, invite your friends who are skeptics to come and look at the science and ask questions, have a dialogue with these different researchers. I will be launching it, talking about placebo, what really is placebo, and how to account for it in placebo, and then talk about some of the researches that has been going on in the last few years, and then as an introduction to all the other webinars that we will have over the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that information is on the screen, so you can go to homeopathycoalition.ca and find the link to register for the talk on the 12th. Yeah. So we do have another question around practicing in the USA after completing the program at CCHM.
Yes, so you know, homeopathy is regulated only in Ontario. In the whole North America, Ontario is the only province that has regulated homeopathy. When you live in US, there is no regulation. So homeopaths have decided to self-regulate. And in this attempt to self-regulate, two things have come into existence. One is the Center for Homeopathic Certification, to make sure that anybody who is going to practice homeopathy is able to go through an exam and pass that exam. And up to 2019, people from any schools could sit at the CHC exam for any school that offers 1,000 hour of program minimum. But since 2021, really, when everybody who had a chance to get grandfathered into, it's only individuals who are coming from an ACHENA accredited school that are able to sit at CHC exam, or from the CHO. If your school is approved by CHO, you can also sit at CHC exam. So if you live outside of Ontario, you don't need to go through the CHO approval. You can just go through the CHC. We'll provide your records to the CHC, and they know that you're a graduate of our school, and you can sit down and write their exam. We have quite a few of our students, both in Canada for their own sake, because it's another way of testing their knowledge, or in the US who go through the CHC exam, because they like to make sure that they present themselves as certified homeopaths. But for the legal perspective, you don't need to have the CHC in order to practice homeopathy in US. The exception, but it's a bit of a cautious. Every state has a different law. Just have to make sure that in whichever state you live, there is nothing against practicing medicine without license. Some of the states have this a bit harsher than the others. It's almost like Quebec in Canada. In Quebec, practice of medicine is really restricted to medical doctors. So if you're not careful as a homeopath in Quebec, or even as a naturopath in Quebec, because homeopathy or naturopathy are not registered profession in Quebec, they can come and bother you. They usually pose as fake patients, and few healthcare practitioners have been charged for practicing medicine without license. I know in Chicago, I know in Florida, there are certain laws about who is practicing homeopathy. So who is practicing what really? It's not about homeopathy, it's about practicing anything but conventional medicine. So that's a completely different issue than whether as a homeopathic practitioner, you're able to practice in the US. Yeah, there is no regulation, therefore you can practice anywhere in the US as long as you have a work permit, and as long as the state there, you follow the laws. And the laws is really about not diagnosing and not prescribing for a disease. So homeopaths have to have that language on learning how to talk to their patients. So clearly they don't diagnose high blood pressure or migraine, but they have to talk the language of a constitution and allowing the body to heal itself. So you're not really prescribing for the disease, you're helping the body to heal, to correct itself. And as long as you follow those guidelines, I think you're always safe. It's impossible to sue a homeopath, because homeopathic remedies are so diluted that nobody can be ever been taken to court for giving such a high diluted remedy to a person.
Great. Okay. And yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. I'm just going to show briefly the next webinar for Canadians for Homeopathy. And in the meantime, if anyone does have any final questions, now would be a good time to put them in the chat. So here's the next webinar that will happen on July 8th, which is called When Wildfires Strike, Homeopathy to the Rescue. And it concerns the place of homeopathic medicines in natural disasters like wildfires, and helping to manage both physical and emotional trauma. So remedies that you can use for smoke inhalation, as well as the mental and emotional tolls of fear, shock, exhaustion, and grief when dealing with any disaster. And Nicole Duelli will be presenting that, and the registration link will be distributed in the coming days on our email list. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, so there are some specific questions, not so much related to homeopathic education. I mean, there's questions about the treatment of hepatitis. There's treatments about how many pellets to take. But I think that those are more specific topics, not directly related to the conversation tonight. So Shorem, is there anything else that you'd like to conclude on? Any final points you'd like to bring to the attention of the listeners?
We're just looking at some of the there's something about, is there a possibility of becoming homeopathy becoming under cover of OHIP? Unfortunately not. Chiropractor used to be covered by OHIP, but they're not anymore. So I don't see it's going to go the other way, especially for homeopathy. It's going to be a very long way before. just because healthcare costs so much already to the Canadian public, the medical system is so expensive that I don't think they're going to cover anything outside of conventional medicine into. But in Ontario, because we are regulated, there are quite a few already private insurance companies that cover homeopathy. Very recently, we had a group of insurance coverage for real estate agent. There are close to how many 100,000 of them in Ontario that have been offered coverage for homeopathy. I think there are probably up to 5 different insurance companies. And the good news is that we have recently formed an alliance, Ontario Alliance for Homeopathic Advancement. And our main goal is to work with insurance companies, private insurance companies at both provincial, federal, and corporate level to encourage insurance providers to cover homeopathy as well. So hopefully our effort over the next year or so in lobbying insurance companies and human resources is going to yield some fruit. But it is much better than it was 10 years ago, I should say, for homeopathy. And again, if you have any question, please join us on Thursday with our live question and answer, and we'll be more than happy to answer your specific questions. And thank you again, Victor and Canadian for Homeopathy, for inviting us to be part of this beautiful presentation.
Great. Thanks so much for your time, and thanks everyone for listening, and have a good night.
Good night, everyone.